I'm like down for this minimalist cause. I've always been a minimalist at heart, and I think now is I'm getting the opportunity to kind of show it, basically, by just getting rid of a lot of my stuff that I don't use, like I said, and minimizing the space that I actually need to survive. I don't need that much space. It's just me, and I think it's going to be just me for a little while. Mama told me, baby, Mama told me. Hey, good morning. So I've been kind of like contemplating whether or not like I want to share some of the things that have been going on for the last couple of days, because I don't want certain people to like feel worried, but like this is like my separate journey and my life pretty much. So I'm trying something new. So you guys know that on the 27th of May, I gave up my apartment, found someone to sublease my apartment or take over my lease, basically. So she applied to legally take over my lease for the last few months until August. I was paying like a very high amount. My rent was $13.20, and with utilities, it came up to about maybe $14.70 a month. Maybe 15 on some days, depending on the electricity. And that was just bills for the house. And I was living in a 623 square feet studio, and I felt like I was, one, overpaying for a studio, and two, I felt like I wasn't even using the space that I was paying for. Like, I don't have a living room set. I don't think I've ever owned a living room set. I only had a bed, a desk, to edit my videos, but I wasn't really using the desk. And so I just kind of felt frustrated every single day because I'm like, I'm not utilizing any of the space that I'm paying all this money for every month. And when the winter months came, when we had the blizzard for like 2 months, that really cut into my pay, and I wasn't getting a lot of calls. So for the months of February and March, my paychecks were smaller than they normally have been, and so that also threw me into a panic. I kind of feel like I've always considered myself to be like kind of a gypsy soul. Like, I always feel uncomfortable when I'm stuck somewhere or trapped somewhere. I feel like I have to move, I have to go, kind of like a nomad almost. But so when I get into like these 12-month leases, I kind of get really anxious by like month 2, and I'm just like ready to go. And I know some of you are probably going to be like, well, why don't you just sign like a 6-month lease? Why do you keep signing a 12-month lease? And it's like, 12-month leases are typically the cheaper leases. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but like if you shorten the lease, you add on more money. So I thought I'd take my chances with a roommate situation again. I had a roommate or 2 roommates when I first moved to Seattle, and that lasted for about 10 months before I kind of gave up on it and moved on my own. And so for the last 3 years and 2 months, I've been living alone and paying really high, atrocious amounts of rent. The plan now was to find a roommate or find several roommates so that my rent could be cheap, and hopefully I can have a private bathroom. A lot of the spaces that I saw were not the cleanest. Like, I'm so surprised by some of the people that actually take time to show you their space, and it smells like dog. And another place I went to, the whole house just smelled like Asian food. I love Asian food. I don't have an issue with it, but I don't want to smell it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't know what was cooked in that building, but every single floor that he showed me, the rooms that were vacant, they all had the same smell. And so the building that he showed me had that overwhelming food smell, and on top of it, it wasn't even clean all the way. I saw another place that another Asian gentleman owned, And the place was like a very tiny studio apartment, like super tiny, like the size of a room. All it had was a bathroom, a mini fridge, a microwave. Oh boy, the bathroom was dirty. You know the stuff that you put in the toilet to clean it, the blue stuff you put underneath the rim, the liquid, and you're supposed to scrub it and flush it when you're done? It was just floating in the toilet, and the bathroom was disgusting. And I asked him, you know, if he was going to hire someone to clean the room, and he said, oh, the room is clean. But I did see a house that was really nice. It's an older house, a little bit in the university district, and it had some girls in it that were planning to move eventually, and the room was only going to be available for like a month and 2 weeks. And so I am kind of looking for something that's month to month, but also with the possibility of staying longer if I'm comfortable. So I want month to month so that I can move if I'm uncomfortable, and the option of staying longer if I am comfortable. So that house didn't really offer that. The downstairs basement part was a little bit too expensive, but that was available for a 1-year lease, and that's something that I wasn't interested in signing. So on Monday, when she took over my lease, I did not get an Airbnb or a hotel room. I thought I was gonna have a roommate by that Monday, but it didn't work out that way. And so I actually just kind of chilled in my car until my shift started. So I stayed in my car all night, and I don't think I got called until like 2 a.m. So I was in my car a lot longer than I thought I was gonna be. So I barely got any sleep. Trying to find somewhere to park and sleep is very difficult because you're constantly worried about whether or not the police is gonna pull up on you and say, hey, you know, you can't be here. And another thing that I was kind of scared of was like just people, like, you know, somebody like seeing me. So I did have some coverings for my window. I need to buy some better covers for my window if that's something that I'm going to choose to do in the future. So the Tuesday after she moved in, I did get an Airbnb for 4 days. And so for the last 2 to 3 days, I've been just kind of hanging out in my car since the B&B expired. That Airbnb was super expensive. That Airbnb was $200 for 4 days, and that was one of the cheaper rooms for rent that had a private bath and a private entrance. Anyway, so for the last 2 to 3 days, I've been kind of just hanging out in my car, going to work, and basically the first day in my car, I showered at the B&B before I left. Yesterday, I showered at the masjid. And today I think I'm gonna go back to the masjid again and shower. It's been pretty interesting sleeping in my car. I do have space, but I think I'm gonna try to see if I could put some more stuff in my storage unit, because if I do that, then I'll have a lot more space than I have right now. But yeah, I was like contemplating like whether or not I even wanted to share that part, because some people are like, oh my god, like why would you choose to live in your car? And I'm just like, why not? Like, you know how much money I'm getting ready to save by living in my car? Like, I don't know. It's just temporary for maybe a day or two. I'm looking at some rooms today. Hopefully I like them. We'll see. Oh, so there was also an option to get a gym membership, but I'm like, how does a person take a shower at the gym only, like, and not work out? Like, I'm not a big fan of going to the gym. So just showing up at the gym just to take a shower is going to be awkward. And Planet Fitness is not 24/7, so someone's always there. But there is a 24-hour gym here that I could join for showering, but the cost is going to be a lot more expensive than Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness is only $10 a month, where that gym is like probably $25 or more, way more expensive. And I'm not paying that monthly just to take a shower. So, and I don't even plan to be in this car that long. I was talking to some girls at my job about getting a van and converting it into kind of like a tiny living space with a bed and basic needs like a bathroom and stuff. That's gonna be a future option for me, I think. I'm like down for this minimalist cause. I've always been a minimalist at heart, and I think now I'm getting the opportunity to kind of show it, basically, by, you know, just getting rid of a lot of my stuff that I don't use, like I said, and minimizing the space that I actually need to survive. I don't need that much space. It's just me, and I think it's going to be just me for a little while. Anyway, I need to get some gas, and I'm going to figure out the rest of my day. I need to find a laundromat so that I can wash some of my clothes. So it's a little weird not having my own washer and dryer, though. I think that's like one thing that's super weird, and not having access to a bathroom whenever I need it. So I think that's the only downside to this. I guess I'll tell you guys like what's happening. I'll give you some updates later. As you can see, I'm like super exhausted. I think I started this video out with a lot of energy, and now it's just kind of depleting. So I'm just getting off work. But anyway, I gotta go. Bye, guys. Mama told me, baby, Mama told me,
you want that when you looking at me. I don't want nobody talking about me.